Hey everyone, this is Rachel, and today I'm here with a new scrapbooking process video. Thanks so much for joining me here, and I hope you enjoy. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome, and I would love it if you would become a subscriber. You can also click on the notification bell so you always know when I have a new video up. Alright folks, let's get going! Hey everyone, I am here for another For the Love of Homemade Kits layout. Today I've got something a little bit different. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, and here is my Instagram handle, you know I participated in the Paper Issues Insta-Hop March into Spring, not Spring into March. March into Spring Insta-Hop. So this layout I made for that particular hop, but it was on Saturday and I wanted this to come out on the Monday for the For the Love of Homemade Kits. Hopefully you understood that all. So I'm going to be working with all of the green elements from my kit, including 2 of the green Vicki Boutin art crayons that I had pulled to go in my kit as part of the mixed media. I also pulled a couple of the green chipboard pieces, and then I've got green pieces throughout my kit, so I thought I would go ahead and use this for that hop. All right, folks, 2 things before I get you put on fast forward. First, if you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. Also, don't forget to go into the description box below to find the March playlist for all of the videos, all of the YouTubers who are part of the For the Love of Homemade Kits group has put out for the month. And that's it. So let's get going. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is pull out this mixed media mat I have. It's not actually a mixed media mat, it's actually a Teflon sheet for baking that I got on Amazon, and then it was actually twice the size and I trimmed it in half. And I just scribbled 2 of the art crayons by Vicki Boutin that I have that are in shades of green, and then I also pulled from my stash 3 different mists, which are also on the For the Love of Homemade Kits recipe list. I happen to have 2 water brushes, and since I was feeling a little lazy and I didn't want to go get water and actual brushes, I decided to just use those water brushes. So the mists are in 3 different shades of greens. They are Forget-Me-Not, Hermit the Frog, and then the 3rd one is something to do with citron, but she actually put it in the wrong bottle. So it's in a bottle that's called Don't Be Swayed, which I know is a brown color, but it's not that. It's something, you got to be citron me or something along those lines. Anyway, all I'm doing is I am heavily spattering all 5 of the colors in kind of a C shape across the white cardstock I pulled. Now, I did end up pulling marshmallow cardstock for this rather than my slightly thinner textured cardstock, but in reality, I didn't need to do that. I was thinking at first I was going to do the packaging technique, but I went ahead and changed my mind. So I'm going ahead, trimming off the branding strip for the white cardstock, and it dries pretty quick, so I didn't, because I'm just doing spattering, I didn't really need for it to worry. It's at this juncture that I realized that my C shape isn't going to work, because the picture of my dog Sadie, she is looking off to the right, so I wanted that curve of color to be where she was looking towards. So I grab the Field of Dreams piece of paper I had in my kit, and all I'm going to do is trim off these 2 different shades of green from that rainbow paper, and then I'm going to trim those apart as well. My idea is to have some sort of vertical lines using these 2 pieces of paper. I'm also adding the Echo Park paper from the Lost in Neverland, and I'm going to partially matte my photo. I'm just going to trim off on the lower side and then the left hand side. I'm going to bring a little bit more of that paper in at a later time, but I haven't gotten there yet, so I won't chat about it yet. So what I do is pull out my triple banner punch from Stampin' Up, and I'm just going to put banners into both ends of both pieces of paper, and you'll see that here. And I decide I actually did not want them as tall as they would have been even with those banners cut into them, which takes about an inch off of each side, but I wanted them not to be as tall. So I am just cutting, as you can see, I'm trimming them in half, and then I'm just using the magic of the covered part to make it seem like I have a shorter piece of paper. Usually you're trying to make your paper look longer. In this case, I was trying to make my paper look shorter. If you saw the little shaking part, that was Ms. Xanthi. Apparently, she finally realized I was scrapbooking Sadie and was very perturbed over the fact that I wasn't scrapbooking her, who is definitely far more important than the dog. So this is a very cute photo of my dog that my housemate actually took. My housemate is not a scrapbooker. She is a knitter, and lately she has been knitting hats for a group that provides knitted caps for cancer patients, and this was one of her completed projects. So she stuck it on Miss Sadie's head and then took a photo. Miss Sadie was giving her stank face, as we call it, because while we can get Sadie to wear the most ridiculous costumes on the planet. We have a costume for her that's a bunch of grapes. We've got Cinderella, we've got pumpkins, all of that. She does not allow anything to be put on her head. So she is giving us the I don't like this thing on my head face. So now we're moving into something that I was so terrified of doing, but it just made sense to me. So one of the roller date stamps in our recipe that I picked was this Dear Lizzie one that says, "You are awesome." So I trimmed out a heart just on some scrap piece of paper, actually last month's recipe, and then I took out 3 oxide inks, pine needles, lucky clover, and cracked pistachio. And as you can see, all I did was randomly stamp that "You are awesome" in that heart shape. It turned out so super cute. I was so excited with how it turned out because it could have been awful. It could have just been a hot mess and I would have had to have something to cover it up, but in the end it worked out perfectly. I then went back with the lucky clover and I stamped up and down that lighter green banner. So I'm moving now on to my title, and I think it's very obvious that I have to have my title go over that heart to kind of draw it into the layout. So I think about using those together, thickers, but those aren't going to work. So I add the Jen Scow very thin puffy one. They don't necessarily stick all the best because they are so very thin. So I take a brayer to them and that helps just kind of drive them into the paper fibers. Fibers, not fires. Oi. So at this point, because I want the words thug life to be like the emphasized words, I decide that together thickers are too big. So instead I go into my stash and I grab these October Afternoon Daily Flash alphas, and I use the tile ones for the word the, and then the more cursive-y ones for the words chose me. And then I take back out the brayer and I do that. And that's a trick I learned from my friend Kim to use with flat stickers. And those puffy stickers, because they aren't super thick, they work as well. So my entire title is "The Thug Life Chose Me," just because she is putting out that very annoyed, grumpy, type face. So I'm pulling out a couple of things to use for my journaling. At first, I think I'm going to bring out those Pretty Little Studio tags, but that's too much color and too different a color. So instead, also from Pretty Little Studio, I pull out this lime green label cut apart, and I'm thinking it's going to go underneath my title there. So I go to write out my journaling, and with a black pen, and I'm just writing about how, no matter how cute the hat is, Miss Sadie does not want it upon her head, or something along those lines. And I accidentally get a bit of the black pen on the white cardstock. So I bring out my little sanding eraser, and that gets rid of quite a bit of it. Because understand, I'm still thinking I'm going to put my journaling up under my title. I then pull out my Posca paint pen, and I just put a couple of layers on it, and it's fine. You really can't see it at all. So, whew. Except I don't end up liking the journaling up there or down by the banners. So I decide it is actually going to go in the lower right-hand corner along with a strip of the same Echo Park paper that I used to map my photo with. So I'm pretty sure that it covers up where I accidentally got the little black mark. I can't see it anymore because I used the Posca paint pen on it. So it's just kind of funny that I spent all that time getting rid of that tiny little black dot, and it ends up that I put paper over it. So whatever, sometimes you have to do something. It's almost kind of like a reverse mixed media type thing. So also from the kit I made, I pull out the word sweet, which was in green, as the whole idea of this was to use green and neutrals only. So black, white, craft, and then any shade of green. I'm almost finished here. I'm just going to be adding these little plus signs from One Canoe 2, and then some of the green hearts from that Chamel Go Now Go, I think that's from, that I had also added to my kit. So as I'm finishing this up, after I add those, the only thing I'm going to do is I decide I need a little bit more black. So I go back into my mists and I grab Night Moves, and that is going to be my final thing. So before I go, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that's super awesome. Don't forget to check out Ollie Quig Scraps on Instagram if you're interested, and also check out the For the Love of Homemade Kits playlist. All right, everyone, thanks so much. Have a great night, day, or morning, whatever it happens to be, whenever you happen to be watching this. Bye!